and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk again about the city budget. And to be honest, I feel like Hampton comes to you every couple of months with some budget questions, but it's because it's so important and because we want your input on how we spend your tax money. So my guests today are two people from our budget office, Gloria Washington, who's the Director of Budget, and Sunshine Torrey, who's a Senior Budget Analyst and is helping with the capital budget. So let me ask, and I'll first say that Sunshine doesn't have a lot of voice due to the Tidewater allergy season, so we're going to go easy on her. But Gloria, so let me start maybe with you then. What is the capital budget and how is that different from the operating budget?
The capital budget is a plan that we use for infrastructure, building needs, education, neighborhood support. It's more of our building component of the plan for the citizens for the city of Hampton. It's different from the operating budget. That's for our recurring operational type needs for our departments, say like city planning and public works. This is where, for instance, we're building the courthouse, or we're building schools, or we're doing building maintenance or operational maintenance for various facilities.
And now that's the one that throws me, because I look at the budget and almost every year in the capital plan we spend, and I don't remember the number, X million dollars on what we call maintenance. Yes. But it's not really maintenance. Like if it's your maintenance, to me is fixing something when it breaks. And in the capital, it's more looking forward to the roof repair. You know, if you're comparing it to your home budget, it's your savings account for those bigger things. Some of those bigger things you might take a loan out to do. Some of them you might save up and then be able to do. So, but it is unusual to me that sort of maintenance money comes right off the top. And it's a standard number, but it's different projects every year.
Yes, it is. It's an opportunity to capture some of the things, like you said, that are coming up that we might want to keep an eye out for, opposed to letting it get to a point where it's bad now. The capital plan, the maintenance portion can help, maintain some of our city's infrastructure.
And I know, it's one of those things like your home, if you can defer those costs most of the time. I mean, you might end up with a building without air conditioning if you defer that scheduled replacement. But a lot of times you can, but then when you do, it sometimes costs more. If you don't fix the roof or replace the roof when you're supposed to, then you replace the roof and you have to replace some of the damage that water has gotten in, or it does increase the cost.
That's absolutely right.
So how do you guys weigh those requests and put together the immense possibilities of the projects the city could spend money on that some people in our city want us to spend money on?
Well, the CIP process is more of a team effort. We put out an opportunity for the departments to submit submissions as to what they would like to see in the capital plan. Once the submissions come in, we kind of put them together and rank them, and that's what we ask the citizens to help us with that. Get kind of an input from them where they would like to see some of the funds being spent within the city, and then from there the committee gets together, put them all together in a ranking system, and we try to put forth the best plan for the city moving forward.
Now, one of the criticisms I've heard, and I want to set this straight at the beginning, it is city staff who submit the projects, but it isn't really the city staff's ideas necessarily. I mean, some of it might be. It's an internal service department might know that they need a computer system, whereas the public might not. But for things like the parks, a lot of that comes from the Parks Advisory Committee or all those different citizen boards. I know the Economic Development Authority is giving pretty clear direction to the Economic Development Department about what they think the city needs to do to promote economic development and make that park opportunity and parkland more successful that they have to market. So it isn't. Staff does the nitty gritty, but it isn't the staff's ideas necessarily.
It's definitely a team effort.
Yes, and it's a collaborative effort because we do have what we call the road shows, which we've already started, and we actually met with the Economic Development Authority and sort of did an education forum for them, sort of outlining the process for the CIP.
Let's not call it CIP. I know that that's an internal thing, but we have a no acronym zone here at Round Robin.
Okay,
so capital projects or big projects.
Let's just say capital projects.
Okay.
And the focus is to get the input from the various advisory boards, from the neighborhood commission, from the citizens. So as Sunshine said, as we can use that as a tool along with other input that we get from executive management and from even the departments, because we have what we call a CIP committee, Capital Improvement Committee, which is made up by various, what we call our engineers, our department heads, public works, our strength that's within the city that knows about these various projects. And we come together with all of the tools, and we use some of the tools that we've had from meeting with the citizens and with council regarding their strategic planning sessions to say, okay, we have this certain pot of money, and we do have dedicated money that we get from the Virginia Department of Transportation for streets and roads, those kind of things. But we use all those as a tools to look at it, because as Sunshine said, we probably had over, 150 submissions, and we probably can fund possibly half of those.
Yeah.
So,
And when you say half, that's also over a 5-year period,
that's
not
over
next year.
Yes, over a 5-year period.
And it is important that these things, you don't just, they pop up every year and you pick 5. I mean, you have to really plan for, and some of them require an engineering study in 1 year, and then you build it out even over 2 years. Some of them require bond financing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's complicated money stuff that I will never understand that you guys are so good at.
And one of the key things we try to also do is align with the community plan, the master plan area, so that we do have a roadmap that we're developing for. So we're not just picking projects, we're making sure that we're aligning ourselves with the vision of the city of Hampton.
And that again is where it comes that full circle. And the community has said what they want Hampton to look like.
Yes.
And it is a very long-term plan, because some of those master plans, well, we're updating so many of them, because it is encouraging to go back and look at the Coliseum master plan and you go, done. I mean, a lot of those things, the whole Peninsula Town Center, a lot of that, you do see the fruition, and it's exciting because it takes a long time to do things. It really does. So, Gloria, since you and I have been here, we came about the same time, and Sunshine's even newer. It's been difficult, because I've seen your graphs and charts, and the amount of money that is available for capital has gone way down as our home values have shrunk, our tax base has been tight during this recession. But last year, the citizens told us we want to maintain what we have, and we want to invest in the future. Yes. It's time to look at growing our city's assets so that we can be the city we want to be, attract more people, increase the jobs, increase the tax base. So my concern is, it's two sides of the same coin. So people now expect things. They've said, yes, we're going to fund some more things, but now you guys are going to have to go, ooh, wow, that money might not go as far as you think, and how do we decide which things we do fund?
And again, we're getting back to the strategic planning process that we had with council, and they're the voice of the citizens, and also, again, meeting with the various boards and commissions, and we're going to have the community forum. So those will be tools that we use along with the roadmap that we have for the 5-year plan, because as part of the plan, the first year we adopt, the other remaining 4 years are planning years. So we're always looking at a revolving look at the CIP. We look at it every year, even though it's a 5-year plan. So with using all of those type of tools and working with the community, we're hoping that we'll get valuable input and collaboration to say, okay, this is our next step. This is the pot of money we have. And we're trying to do this earlier in the process this year. Last year, we were later.
We got pushed later last year. We started early. It just didn't. It's hard to do things and involve the public. Yes. Honestly, between mid-November and the end of the year.
Because of the holidays.
People are just so busy, and it's not where their attention is at that time.
But
so we are starting.
We are starting a lot
You
early.
guys are doing it all.
A lot earlier.
A lot earlier. Yes. And so a road show, what is a road show?
Well, the road shows are opportunity for us to get out in the community and kind of get the input, get in the community and see what their ideas are. So often things happen behind a desk and you really don't get the feel of what the community is looking for. So our plan for the road shows is go out and first and foremost educate the public on what a CIP is, what type of projects are eligible to go into a CIP. let them know that, it's a 5-year plan. The first year is adopted, the other 4 are planned. Items that go into the CIP must be at least $50,000 or more and have a life expectancy over 5 years. So the education point will be put forth first. The second part of that is to gain input as to what they would like to see in the plan, how they envision Hampton moving forward. And hopefully we'll get a lot of input from the citizens that we can use to help construct a plan that we all can be proud of.
And so these are a roadshow because you go to where the people already are. You go to the Youth Commission, to the Planning Commission, to the Economic Development Alliance. And now those are all open meetings and people can go, but they're not really a chance for the average public to speak out.
Yeah, we designated the community forums for that. We'll have...
So hold on just one second, let me go. But in the roadshows, it's also a little bit more maybe informal, where that Economic Development Authority, and I was at that one, might say, this road is our top priority, but it doesn't have how much the road costs, how long it will take to build it. It's not an impact study. It's more of a general, here's what we think is important. So that is ongoing through probably the end of November, that input process that's a little bit more general. Okay, now the public forums, go ahead and tell us, Sunshine, how that's going to work.
We have 2 community forums planned where the public will have an opportunity to come out and actually voice their opinion. It'd be a hands-on activity where they can learn more about the budgeting process where it comes to the CIP, the Capital Improvement Plan.
Thank you.
And actually, learn more about how we do it and have an opportunity to actually give their input.
And that should be a lot of fun. And I think it's hard to make those decisions. What's more important, a fire station or a road? What's more important, maintaining the buildings we have or, building a new park that maybe people have been asking for a long time? And we want people to weigh in on that.
Yes. And it's interesting, we plan to have the subject experts there because you're actually right, Robin. It's a hard decision, and especially everyone thinks that they're in their neighborhood or whatever their project is the most important. So that's why it's good to get all of this input and the tools, so when we do get to the ranking process, we have the best information at hand so we can make the better decisions. And then we still have a level where we present that information to the city manager, who then says, okay, she's consulted with council, we know how these align with the priorities and the vision of the city, and that's where we make our final recommendations.
Right, and there are things that, that staff knows that the public may not know.
Yes.
It's like, okay, if we don't, and I'm bringing up the fire station because it's one I'm very familiar with. The WIF fire station has been in the capital plan for quite a while, and it just keeps getting pushed off and pushed off. But at some point, there's a point at which that old fire station cannot function.
Absolutely. Yes.
And at that point, you almost need that staff evaluation that says, we either close it or we replace, you can't actually function out of there. And so there is a certain amount of that professional judgment that has to go in after you get the input and weigh it. And certainly council gets direct input. There's input coming in all kinds of ways.
Absolutely.
But this should be fun. These meetings will be a little bit hands-on. You'll get up and walk around. It's not like you'll just sit in an auditorium. And then we'll do some online input as well. But I think the meetings will, the way we're talking about them, really give people a chance to, go spend their tax dollars.
Yes.
So that'll be a lot of fun. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you. We'll hear
You're
more
so
back
welcome.
from you when this plan is developed.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I hope we'll see you at a couple or at least one of the community forums, and give us your input, because this is the future of your city and the big projects that you want to see built. Thank you for watching.